Morning everybody, welcome to Turtle Beach here in Pattaya, Thailand. Now we're doing something that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, would have been completely unimaginable. Being able to broadcast live for, not much. All I've got is just an iPhone and some other bits and pieces. Actually, people often ask me what I actually use to do my broadcast. So, how can I do this? There we go. That's what I use. You can see there I've got my laptop, I've got an iPad, I have the iPhone, which of course I use to take the photo, in front providing the camera. Then I've got the old Yeti from the brand Blue. So that's pretty much my setup, and I'll tell you a bit more about where I am in just a moment. But an hour ago, this was buzzing pretty much with bikers. But when I say bikers, cyclists who had ridden from, somewhere. They were wearing matching lycra suits. There was about 30 of them here. I bet during the next hour there'll be some more cyclists arriving. This is a very popular place along the Turtle Beach Road, and there is the beach road disappearing into the distance. And I saw a young Steve Ross heading down there and coming back for his cycle this morning. Now, just a few quick questions before we get into the matters of the day. And somebody was asking a bit further back here from Gail Fosk. I'll say Gail Fosk. I hope I've got it right, Gail. Tim, is your new residence nearly complete, even with the language barrier with your contractor? Well, yeah, we've got the walls up. Tomorrow the windows go in, and that basically means that the place is sealed. The roof, the walls and the windows. And then we've got a few things to do inside. We're going to be spraying the floors with epoxy. Bit radical. When you see it, you'll go, oh, that's interesting. We've also got the kitchen to go in, which we've been building this week. We've got the bathroom, a few things to do there. And we're putting a ceiling in the bedroom. Only the bedroom will have an actual ceiling. So we're not that far away. Certainly made a lot of progress this week. Thanks, Gail, for the question. Somebody else was asking about what it's like for older people here in Thailand. And I'll try and find... Okay, this is from Steve Hatsis. Good morning to you, Steve. Have you ever seen an elderly that's over the age of 80 expat in Thailand with medical movement issues? Just wondering how well they're taken care of in Thailand, how well they get around. So some people responded to that by saying... I can't even find it now, but people were responding. The issue is, if you're mobility challenged, Thailand probably isn't the best place in the world. And I get that. I'm just going to turn the sound down a little bit. Seems I'm just sort of peaking. And I know people are going to jump all over that, so I've just turned the sound down. Hope that's okay. Tell me if it's not. So in regards to being mobility challenged as you're older, Thailand is famous for having the worst footpaths. You might call them pavements or walkways. These things here. That's actually a pretty good patch of pavement. An unusual thing to see in parts of Thailand. Having said that, over recent years, some of the areas in popular tourist locations have had a bit of a makeover, and the pavements have improved a lot. But even around Bangkok, there's plenty of pavements that are still pretty choppy. Also, they get invaded with food vendors and different people selling things at different times of the day. And that, I suppose, just gets in the way. Sometimes, in places like Bangkok again, you can even get a situation where a motorcyclist will suddenly appear out of nowhere on the pavement, coming your way. So all those things make it a little bit difficult to get around. Things like ramps rather than stairs, or as an alternative. Not necessarily, you need your bearings checked, mate, are not that common. So getting around Thailand as a person who is mobility challenged is not as easy as it could be in other countries. There is one big benefit, though, for people who are mobility challenged or getting a bit old and difficult to move around. I'll get there myself eventually. Is that to hire a carer, somebody to wheel you around, prepare your meals, help you wash every day and stuff like that, they're quite, inexpensive. you'd be able to get a full-time carer in different parts of Thailand, maybe between 20 and 25,000 baht. In some of the busier tourist areas, you might have to pay a little bit more. But certainly for, say, 30,000 baht, you'd be able to get somebody. It might be a former nurse, might be somebody with some limited caring training and skills, but you'd certainly be able to get somebody to care for you. And that would be a lot cheaper than, say, in Western countries. And of course, you've got a much more stable climate generally, as long as you don't mind, well, the heat. Today's going to be very hot, by the way, down here in the south. In other parts of the country, we've had a bit of a bumpy week, but here along the Andaman coast, even though there's been quite strong easterly winds, there's also been a competing onshore wind, which sort of has balanced out and made it very pleasant here during the days. I'll show you what the beach looks like in a moment. One of the topics for discussion today is, I'd have to show you this photo. A bit embarrassing to show this, but it's an example of AI. Now, somebody decided to get a recent photo of me and threw it into the AI soup, and they came up with this. So this is, I suppose, a Tim Newton from the, the 1930s. Looking a bit Gatsby and a bit dapper, and they've also thrown a head of hair on the poor guy. So that's what I might have looked like as sort of a 1930s young Tim Newton with hair. So thank you very much to the person who bothered to send that in. But let's have a bit of a look at where we are today. And as you know, I'm broadcasting from Chip Fair Lele, and this is what it... Thank you. This is what it looks like as you walk over the road from Chip Fair Lele Cafe to Turtle Beach this morning. A bit of stuff blown onto the beach by those easterly winds, but the rest of the beach is actually very clear. There's a gentleman there who's got 3 or 4 rods out this morning, and I hope he catches something worth his time. And you can see very, very quiet out there in the Andaman Sea, and just little waves breaking on shore. They make a bit of a noise when they do, because they sort of all arrive on the shore at the same time, go crash. But it's a nice sound nonetheless. And then if you walk back over the road, this is Chip Fair Lele this morning, about an hour ago, after the sun just come up over the horizon, and a couple of soy dogs there saying hi, welcome to Chip Fair Lele. And as I said, a lot of people do drop in here during the day for a coffee. If you do happen to drop in, make sure you say Tim sent you. You won't get a discount or anything, or maybe you will, but it makes me look good. So that's Chip Fair Lele. I was going to ask the question today about what you think are some of the best cafes with a view. Now, there's lots and lots of great cafes in Thailand, and you can pay a lot for your coffee or a little bit for your coffee. You can pay up to 150 baht if you really go to a fancy cafe, or you can pay as little as 30 or 40 baht for a coffee. And really, the quality is much the same. Now, the Thais do, or increasingly enjoying their coffee. You can go to a lot of these stands on the side of the roads and get a coffee for 40 baht. The Thais seem to particularly enjoy an iced coffee. This is coffee which has got sweetened condensed milk and then shitloads of ice, and then they drink it with a straw. In a plastic cup, with a plastic lid, with a plastic straw, in a plastic bag. And off they go, and it dangles from their motorbike as they drive around. So, they do really love their iced coffee. I'm not exactly sure how you go about getting your coffee if you're here in Thailand, but there's now cafes everywhere. 20 years ago, they were a little bit rarer, but over the past 2 decades, there's certainly been a developing coffee culture here developing. Probably brought in by the popularity of coffee in some of the tourists, or the countries which have got tourists coming to Thailand. But over the past week, I've been to 2 cafes with a view, which I thought I'd share with you. And I'd be interested to hear about where you think your favourite cafe with a view is. It's something that I think Thailand does pretty well. So this is the first one, and I did a post during the week, and I can't believe the hate I got from it. But here we go. This is a cafe with a view. Now, this view is across an area called Koh Saray, and it's actually looking out towards the east. In other words, it's looking at the unfashionable side of Phuket. And in the distance there, you've got Koh Yao Yai, one of the islands. And if we were to pan a little bit more to the right, you'd actually be able to see Koh Phi Phi. And Koh Phi Phi is between Phuket and Krabi in the middle of Phangar Bay. But this particular cafe is quite interesting. This is a view, and it's a Starbucks cafe. And as you pan around, as you can see, very, very busy around sunset about 2 days ago. And that easterly wind was blowing quite strong as an offshore breeze from the east coast of Thailand. And indeed, it was very well subscribed. And but even on the busiest nights, you can usually get a seat, maybe not necessarily in the front row, and you're actually looking towards the sunrise, not the sunset, because the sun sets on the east coast of on the west coast of Thailand. Well, naturally on the west coast, but there you go. Now, to get up there, this is, I suppose, one of the interesting things. You actually have to pay 300 baht to get a ticket to go up the hill. So I thought, 300 baht for what amounts to be a 2-minute trip. And it's like that. You're going up in a truck. There was 8 of us in a sort of a small songtao. And I thought, this thing's just not going to get up the hill. But they've got really good tyres and an oversized diesel engine. And that thing's got torque. And it dragged us up the hill. It felt like it was like that. But it was probably, I don't know, about a 30-degree or 40-degree gradient. It was quite hefty. And then going around some of the corners, and there was like that much room on either side. I thought, he's going to hit something. But of course, they probably do this 50 times a day. So the trip up the hill is, intimidating. But it only takes 2 or 3 minutes. When you get up there, you get up to this great view at this platform at the top with a Starbucks coffee shop. Now, there's going to be people out there saying, Starbucks is shit and whatever. Look, I think you're just being a bit of a snob with your coffee. You might be able to argue that it's a bit overpriced here in Thailand, but I don't think you can say that their coffee is bad. I find their coffee a little bit bland, but I think their coffee's fine. As I said, probably a bit overpriced compared to some of the Thai options. But they're the ones who invested in putting their franchise up on this hill. And I found out that 300 baht that you spent to get up the hill, you can then redeem on your coffee or your food or whatever you want. So it actually wasn't that bad. So that was one place I went to, as I'm asking you to share your great coffees or cafes here in Thailand with a view. Here is the other one. Now, this one is actually at the Phuket International Airport. And what's self-explanatory where it is, but you get the best view of the runways. So you're actually just over the road from the main runway. And there are people there just loving going up there. You can grab a coffee. But yeah, there's a lot of plane spotters who enjoy going up there. And you can see there's one plane just arriving there in the distance. This time of the year, they're arriving from the west to the east. And the other half of the year, they land the other direction. But plenty of people up there. 3 or 4 of them were there the entire hour I was there watching. And there's a plane arriving there. We're actually very, very busy. Planes arriving literally every minute or so. This one is an Indigo. No, it's not. It's Malaysian Airlines arriving, obviously, from KL on that morning. And there's the staff at the cafe. And I think they've been very enterprising by putting this little shop right across the road. Nobody else has done that. And I'm pretty sure now that others will do it, because every time I drive past this place, just along the runway there, you do see lots and lots of people out there enjoying the view. So it's a road that runs along the runway. It says 8-5, so I'm not really sure what it's called, but 8/5 is about as good as I can go. It's actually sort of meant to be a place you can park your car, given that there's so many cars now in the car parks at the Phuket airport, and it's sometimes very difficult to get a car park. So there's been these private car parks developing around the airport as the airport just gets more and more hemmed in. But I thought, the coffee was actually very good. It was better than the Starbucks coffee. But and it was only, I think, 50 or 60 baht. But what a view if you're a plane spotter. Yeah, you tell them. If you're a plane spotter, this is a great place to go. Get some good shots, but don't go there just to go and get some shots. Make sure you do buy a coffee while you're there. So we have a chorus of soy dogs just announcing the arrival of a car. Not particularly sure why they went Burko at that particular car. Anyway, let's say hello to you as I look forward to you sharing your best cafes with a view. Not your best coffee or your best cafe, but the best Thai cafe with a view. Plenty of them now in Bangkok and also in other places. And it's also a situation now where we're finding some of these walkways, these glass walkways opening up, usually with a cafe attached, at some of the best views around. I know at Samet Nang Shi, which is a magnificent view, probably one of the best views available in Thailand. Now Samet Nang Shi, 20 years ago, nobody used to go there. Now everybody goes there, and there's little hotels and coffee shops, and they're just opening a glass walkway that you'll be able to walk on to enjoy the view. A place that you usually go at sunrise because you can watch the sun rising over those limestone karst mountains over Pangar Bay, and it's magnificent. So let's, I think I firstly should thank some super chats that have come in. To Anders Wallin, thank you very much for your very, very generous support. Some appreciation for the show. It's part of my morning routine. Keep up the good work. Anders, thank you very, very much. It seems to me that you might be in Thailand. So wherever you are, thank you for your generosity, and hope you have a great day. And thanks for watching every day. Also, I need to acknowledge John S. in Melbourne. Just a little bit hard to see, got a lot of light reflecting. Hi Tim, very excited to be back in Thailand next week. A question, can you speak a bit about the tourist police and how they are different to normal police? May be interesting for viewers. Oh God, that's really bending my brain a bit. I'll have to have a bit of a think about that. I've known a few tourist police over the time. I'm not exactly sure what their relationship is. I'll think about that and I'll answer it in just a moment. But John, thank you very much for your generosity this morning. Currently in Melbourne, in Thailand soon. Which part of Thailand are you going to visit? I'll answer your question in just a moment whilst part of my brain just goes to retrieve the files. And Lewis Cabo, thank you very much for your very generous support this morning. And Lewis is saying, Tim, I go shopping for groceries in Pattaya. I get frozen vegetables in a plastic bag. I buy meat, shrink wrapped. I get a soda in a plastic bottle with a little plastic bag to carry it. Why are the plastic bag straws so bad? Why are they bad? Well, I mean, obviously it's about disposal of those things and the fact that they don't deteriorate and just disintegrate and turn to nothing. They can last for hundreds of years and they're difficult for the landfill. I know, for example, you can go to like a 7-Eleven and you can buy a banana in a plastic bag. They're all plastic wrapped. And then when you go to pay for it, they'll put that banana in a plastic bag so you can carry it. Given that nature's already wrapped up that banana perfectly well for you. So it's not as if it's a sanity issue. The poor banana, by the time it gets out to your car, has got a couple of additional layers of plastic around it. So, look, I mean, obviously there was a bit of a purge maybe 2 or 3 years ago Even 7-Elevens stopped giving out plastic bags. That's changed over the past couple of years, and there's plastic bags everywhere again. So a bit of a scourge in Thailand are plastic bags, and it's more about, rather than banning anything, I think it's more about an education issue, educating Thais to try and use plastic less, because it is ubiquitous. Everywhere you go, there's plastic bags and plastic, and they just love plastic bags for whatever reason. I do have some stories to go to, by the way, if we ever get there, but thank you very much to those super chats. Now, John S. in Melbourne about tourist police. Tourist police are often foreigners, and they would be working as volunteers. That's my understanding. I don't believe they get a wage or anything. They may get some assistance or I'm thinking. I don't know what the situation is. In theory, they're working or they're volunteering. Does that affect their visa? Well, obviously it doesn't. So the tourist police, I think, do a particularly good job because they often act as an intermediary between you and Thai police in situations that can otherwise get a little bit out of control. Now, I would always recommend, if you're a foreigner and you're in an accident and there's a whole lot of Thai people around you and then the police arrive, I would warmly recommend that you not demand but ask politely for the tourist police to come to the scene. Now, in popular tourist locations, there are plenty of tourist police around. I believe the number, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is 1155, and you can call that number from anywhere in Thailand, and if you're in a tourist area, there'll be no problem getting hold of somebody from the tourist police. And they often represent many, many different countries. So depending on what your native language is, they'll be able to come and address the police. And they would do this on a daily basis. Now, when it comes to police stopping you at a situation, there may have been some minor incident. There may have been a collision. Now, a lot of people say, the police always back the Thais. Well, that's not correct. I mean, I've seen many, many times when the police have acted totally fairly. Now, you might say, well, that's not the way things should operate. Now, the police should just be writing a report, and then the insurance company should do something, and then it should go to court, and the judge can decide. Well, in Thailand, that's not the way things work, and the police will usually arbitrate the situation at the scene, and they will decide basically who's at fault, and they'll decide what fines need to be paid. Now, I think it's quite a good short circuit to the whole system. And as I've said, I've often found that the police siding with the foreigners. And usually very fair. Now, of course, there'll be plenty of stories about corrupt police, and there'll be plenty of stories about, they accused me of this and that, and I had to pay all this money. Yeah, sure, there's those sort of stories as well. But generally, and if you've got a tourist policeman there as well, you'll be able to negotiate and arbitrate that situation on the spot. This is in the situation, of course, where nobody's been badly hurt. I mean, if somebody's been badly hurt, the most important thing is to get that person to hospital ASAP. And the volunteer rescue emergency responders are very quick and very good at it, often because they get a commission when they take the patient to the hospital. But whatever makes them fast and efficient, it works. Hopefully that might be a bit of an answer. Let's go to some other comments. Look, there's so many people I haven't even said hello to this morning. Good morning, Tim from Ken RQ, Guzzy Jack, howdy, all from Texas. Tim is your new resident. I think I've done that one. It's an explosive program with hot content. Followed the science as the arrogant said. That's from Ray Caitlin. Not sure what you're talking about there, Ray. Hello from rainy, cold Arizona. Jarl, the Lycra Bulge. Not sure what's going on there. Hello, everyone, says Stephen Casper. But look, a lot of people there. I'm very grateful for you dropping in. Dom. Morning, Tim. 90-day online reporting completed yesterday. Then 1 hour from submission to confirmation. Keep at it. Okay. 90-day reporting. Oh, people get very, very hot under the collar about 90-day reporting. And for reasons I've mentioned quite often this week. And somebody then said, Tim, you're just using the 90-day reporting as clickbait. Well, I'm sorry if I use a popular topic as clickbait if it's in the news and everybody's talking about it. Well, of course I'm going to talk about it and report it in the news. I mean, if I happen to choose the biggest story of the day, or the most spoken about, or the most searched for topic of the day, that's not necessarily clickbait, that's just responsible reporting. But of course I'm going to put the most searched for or the most interesting story in my thumbnail. I mean, I'd be stupid not to. Nice location outside and audio is perfect. That's from Oz Scale Modelling. Thank you very much. Good morning from cool Nong Rua. It's only 20 degrees. Yeah, it's a cold day in Thailand, 20 degrees. Ooh, freezing. It's going to be a hot day here, probably into the mid-30s, I would say. Why are the sidewalks generally shitty in Thailand, says Key J. I think it's basically they've been poorly constructed in the past. They haven't had the right engineers, or they haven't done the soil testing. And if they're laid concrete, I just don't think they lay them properly. And if they do these sort of concrete tiles, they seem to be able to repair them much easier because they can replace the tile. But I don't know why they're shitty, but they just don't seem to be building them properly. And in many cases, as I said, they are misused as additional road for some motorcyclists that want to get here to there in a bit of a rush, or for food vendors who think they can just take up the side streets. Also, areas in Pattaya do not have pavements. That's correct. And this has happened in places like Phuket as well, where the tourist inflow has gone faster than the ability for the authorities to keep up with the infrastructure. And so there are some, they used to be just streets, and they've tried to put sidewalks on them, but then there's just too much traffic, and it's always a mess. So yeah, you're right. The Thais are quite caring towards the elderly as well, unlike in the West, says Jarl. Yes, certainly culturally, a lot of Asians as they get older will stay with the family. The family wouldn't even possibly think about sending their old folks into an aged care home. Where in the West, they do sort of ship off the oldies into the aged care home, and in many cases they sort of get, hate to use the word, but sort of dumped. Now, in my case, as my parents got older, I moved back home, and it was my intention to stay there and care for them in their dotage, which I did whilst they were alive. But that's just me. Here in Asia, I do note that there's the usual situation is that the oldies will stay with the family, and there's not many aged care homes here in Thailand. Now, there is a growing number of aged care facilities, mostly for overseas foreigners that want to come here and live out the remaining years of their life. So not so much for the Thais, but I think we will see, as Thailand gets a bit more corporatised and westernised, and it's just those influences, and you can't really stop that there will be more aged care facilities coming up here in Thailand. Reed says, I have my Thai wife to take care of me. As long as she outlives you, that's the intention, I suppose. Why does Thailand not allow 3-wheel bike trikes for personal use? You can't get the licence for the bike. This is from the Wu-Tang Life. Well, of course, there are plenty of 3-wheeled bikes. That's sort of the bike with the sidecar driving around. It's usually it's 3-wheel bike. I don't know. Even though it may not be something that you can get licensed, I'm pretty sure you can see plenty of them around. A question from Warren Williams. A Pyrrhic victory for Peter Move Forward Party. The opposing parties got what they wanted. Okay, so We've just had a bevy, that's the collective noun I'm using today, of cyclists arriving. And for those people that say I get distracted by the cyclists, well, it's hard not to when 30 arrive all at the same time. Cha-Cha-Cha says they usually use the wrong materials, house floor tiles, instead of paving slabs. Yeah, that's another thing. They use poor quality materials. I mean, these are about nearly 2-inch thick Thai tiles. I've got some of these in my own garden. And you can buy them. They're not expensive. They're only around about 30 or 40 baht each. And they're usually solid concrete and well built. Of course, it's the way they're laid as well. About the Peter and the Move Forward Party, yes, we reported that during the week. I've got a sort of a related issue coming up in the news, which I should get to, and I'll get back to your comments very soon, everybody. But let's have a quick look at where... Done that. Oh, here we go. So we go to this story from Bangkok Post. 2 cubs seized, moved to wildlife breeding centre. So yeah, during the week, these stories, some 2 or 3 stories about lions roaming the streets of Pattaya. And the owner of 2 cubs was forced on Friday to surrender the animals to authorities, who also charged her with illegally keeping them. And the 2 exotic creatures, about 10 months old and almost full-size lions, were found in her house after the Pattaya Watchdog Facebook page posted their photos, including one showing one of them roaming on a street on Thursday. Yeah, lions shouldn't be roaming the streets, generally. Do I have anything more to say about that? Well, not really, except... These are cases of exotic animals being kept in Thailand, some of them licensed, some of them not, these apparently not. So I think in all the cases of those lions reported during the week up in Pattaya, including the one riding around on the back of the white Bentley, have been taken into proper wildlife care. Here's a bit of a story with a warning, and this is from nationthailand.com. Over 13,000 SIM cards used to make 100 plus calls daily suspended. And in a bid to tackle online scams using mobile phones, the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society has suspended the services of more than 13,000 SIM cards used to make over 100 calls a day. So these are people who are using the SIM cards and they're making more than 100 phone calls in a day, which I think all of us would consider unusual. And starting from January the 16th, anyone registered as owning 6 SIM cards and more to their name is required to verify their ownership with the relevant service providers, according to the Ministry's new regulations. And the Minister said SIM cards are an important tool of criminals, especially call centre gangs. The scammers use SIM cards to make phone calls or send SMS with malicious links. So improved regulation of SIM cards is an important method to stop these gangs. Bring it on and bring it on fast. And he said that his ministry would next deal with scam short messages that contain malicious links used by scammers to get access to their victims' mobile phones. So, and connected to that is a phone call I received yesterday from a gentleman called Graham. Don't worry, Graham, I'm not going to use your surname, and there are plenty of other Grahams around. But he was a bit sheepish, saying, look, I've been caught in a scam, and I've lost, I think in his case, about 70,000 baht. And this was a different scam, but it is indeed an online scam, where people are invited to go to a what looks like a sort of a retail sort of setup online, and vote for various goods. And then if they put in more money, they can vote for more of these goods, and then they get a return on the number of clicks, and they're meant to make squillions of baht. But of course, it is all a scam, and you end up usually being paid for the first couple of days, then invited to put more money in after they've reeled you in on the fishing hook, and then suddenly there's no more money after you've done your big investment. So to Graham and everybody else, look, I understand you feel a bit sheepish, and thank you for ringing up and giving us the warning. But there are plenty of online scams, not only here in Thailand but other parts of the world, And you need to be really, really careful. Put on your bullshit detectors, put on your goggles, and make sure you look really carefully at anything you're going to click on online. And the old rule, if it looks too good to be true, it usually is usually fairly accurate. So thank you very much for that warning, Graham, and bothering to give us a call. Stuart Mackenzie, hopefully we'll be sailing from Yacht Haven around the bottom of Phuket and up to Simlan Islands in about a week's time. I'll wave as we go past. Thank you, Stuart. Okay, what else have we got? Dam 1 says, yes, I'm cared for here in Thailand. Lots of nurses available. I think the nurses that you might be hiring are a little bit, younger and probably more expensive. Tim looks Gatsbyan, looking like James Bond. Oh, that's the photo. It's obviously fake. There are no loud shirts. Come and say hello. Come and say hello to everybody.
Hello.
Hello. What's your name?
I'm Captain.
Captain.
Yes.
Okay. Captain is the son of the lady that runs the coffee shop.
Yes.
And you go to school in Koh Loi every day. I see you getting into the van.
Yes.
What are your favourite subjects at school? Talking to the mic. What?
My favorite subject is I like to learn the science.
You like science. Which science? Do you like astronomy about space and the planets, or do you like
Yes.
physics, or what particular science do you like?
Now I learn all power like energy like
Oh, energy. Yes.
sound energy like this.
Okay. And you've been practicing at home,
Yes.
putting screwdrivers in the electric sockets? Don't do that. Never put a screwdriver into an electric socket. I was just joking. Okay. So you still got your pajamas on. Do you like Spider-Man? Is he your favourite?
Not favorite at all, but I like it.
Yes. Okay. And do you wear your pajamas around all day, or do you have other clothes to wear?
Sometimes when I don't go to place, I will like the pajama, and when I to sleep, I will go to bathroom and change the pajama.
Oh, okay.
And sleep.
And what are you going to do today?
I think today I will do my homework.
Homework?
When I finish homework, I will practice com because I do a code.
A what?
A code of story animation.
Oh, okay. And what are you going to do when you are older? When you are finished school, what are you going to do?
I think I will contain our.
You're going to run the shop.
Yes.
Chip Fair Lele. Is that how you say it?
Jipfalele.
Oh, I think I've been fairly right. Okay, Captain, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Nice. I never out of YouTube. I so excited. Thank you.
Whoa, it's your first time on YouTube.
Yes.
I do this every day.
Oh.
All these people here, they laugh at my funny shirts. Do you like my shirt?
Yes.
I think you're just being polite. Okay. Are you going to go now?
I can wait. Do
Oh,
you want
you
to
can
add-
wait.
Yes.
Oh, what are we going to talk about?
I don't know.
Will you think of what would you like to talk about?
Science.
Science. Okay, ask me a science question, see if I can answer it.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't ask. I will show you something.
Okay. Oh, he's going to go and get something. Okay. Been kidnapped by a 8-year-old. Okay. Let's just barrel on here. And, oh dear. Okay. Captain speaks exceptional English for someone so young, says Dam. Yeah, he actually goes to the local Kajonkiet school. And they're not the most expensive sort of private schools around the country. They're sort of in the middle between the international schools and the public schools. He's a good kid. Always greets me politely every day. Oh, here we go. What's Captain got? Okay, what's this?
This is our first. This I did.
So what is this?
Code code story animation.
Oh, this is like a storyboard. This sort of,
Code.
yeah. And do you draw? Do you do animation?
Yes, you see this?
Yes.
I do.
You do all this using a computer.
I don't use computer on IS school. I use computer, but my home don't have computer. I need to use on
Like an iPad?
Yes.
An iPad. Okay. Well, good. That's fantastic. I'll put it up on my refrigerator. So, Captain, you better go and help Mum with the coffees for all these people. They're going to need coffees. Do you drink coffee? No, you're a bit young to drink coffee. How old are you?
I'm 9.
9.
Yes, 9 years.
9 years old. How old am I?
I don't know.
How old do you think I am? I'll either decide if I like him or not.
21.
21. Very close, Captain. You missed by about 44 years. Come here. I'm 65.
You're 65 years.
That's very old. Don't tell anybody though, okay?
65.
All right, go and help Mum, okay?
Okay.
Right, bye, Captain.
Tomorrow do you
Oh.
come here?
No, tomorrow I won't be here, but I'll be back on Monday.
Oh, okay.
You'll have to go to school.
Yes, I cannot. Okay.
Oh, what a shame you won't be able to come back on Monday.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you, Captain. Yes, you can go now. Okay, I'm going to have to share the super chats with him, won't I? Okay. Tim's interviewing him for a co-presenter role. Well, could do a lot worse, couldn't I? Awesome kid. Well done, Captain. Captain speaks exceptional English, yes. Get a YouTube channel. I think he's a future YouTuber. Isn't it interesting when asked what he wants to do? He wants to take over the cafe. Mind you, I think the cafe is fairly lucrative and would be a good business decision. And given his English skills and his general demeanour, I think he'd be a great manager here at the cafe as Mum gets a bit older. Okay, Tim is interviewing him for a replace Steve with Captain. No, I don't think anybody can replace Steve Ross. Captain is a superstar. Good morning to everyone from Ubon Ratchathani. This is from Thai's Wedding for fun. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Enjoy this beautiful, take care. Captain, might take Tim to school for show and tell. Oh, Rachel, I hope not. I love kids. Babysit my sister's kids many, many times. Changed nappies, done everything. Very happy to give them back to their mums after a certain amount of time. And I have a lot of, respect for mums with their infinite patience. I think it's a very difficult job to be a parent these days. There's one of those three-wheelers we were talking about. He's a good kid. You should let him sit down and finish the show. Kevin, don't. It's funny how he was looking at himself on the camera rather than... Yeah, well, Steve does the same thing. Okay, so a very polite young man. Yes, he is. Good manners. Nice kid. Tim, you found your co-host. Okay, never work with animals and children on TV, says Tommy Ang. Yes, that is indeed the rule. But I think he's a bit of an exception. Let's talk about the Thai Senate. Now, I know some of you don't want to talk politics, but it is so crucial to the future of Thailand what happens with the Senate. Now, if you've got a problem with what happened at the May 14 election last year, when the party that received the highest number of votes was not able to form a government, that was because of the Senate, the stacked Senate, the hand-picked Senate from the last junta. And they, of course, all sided for a more conservative government, and they eventually let the Per-Thai party form a government with some of the old guard. Okay, and it's turned out to be a relatively stable government. It certainly looks like it's going to remain a stable government, and that's good for Thailand. But in March this year, I think March, April, May, we do have a Senate election. A lot of people saying to me, how are these senators going to be appointed? Because it's going to be crucial for Thailand's future and the next election, the shape of this Senate. Let's go to this story in BangkokPost.com, and it started off Pattay's big gamble. And the article went on to talk about the 10,000 baht digital wallet, where they're going to give out 10,000 baht to all Thais over the age of 16. But this is down the bottom, and I thought it might fill in some gaps for some people that don't know the process. While political observers can't wait to see the back of the military-appointed Senate, whose term ends in May, several remain sceptical about whether the next upper house will truly represent the interests of the public and the democratic process. The current Senate, handpicked by the now dissolved National Council for Peace and Order, which is basically the name for the military when they were running the country, was widely seen as the regime's political tool to prolong its stay in power. And when the 5-year term of interim senators comes to an end on May the 11th, also going with them will be the power to join the House of Representatives in co-electing a Prime Minister. And that was constitutionally allowed. So stop whinging about it. It was in the Constitution, and it was all done by the letter of the law. But those Conservative senators obviously swayed the way that the Prime Minister was elected. But after May the 11th this year, the power of the Senate to be involved in the election of the Prime Minister will finish. Although the Election Commission is yet to announce a timeline for the Senate election process, the new Senate, to be selected from a pool of candidates from 20 professional groups through a complex process, is expected to assume office around mid-July at the earliest. And under the Charter, the next Senate will have 200 members selected from 20 professional groups such as law and justice, public health, education, agriculture, and mass media and arts. Candidates must be at least 40 years old, have at least 10 years of experience in their respective fields, and not be affiliated with a political party. And the elections will be held at the district, provincial and national levels, in which cross-voting will also be applied to prevent cronyism and collusion amongst candidates. After the election at the national level, the new chamber will see each of the 20 professional groups contributing 10 members. Anyway, enough about that. So it looks like there will be an election for senators. And if you look at the way that the political process ran back in May the 14th last year, you'd imagine that there's going to be quite a few younger and more liberal-minded people who are going to be involved in becoming senators. But it's going to be, they're trying, I suppose, rather than appointing directly a political Senate, they're trying to find people with skills and experience from a number of different professions. It will end up political whether they like it or not, but I think the intention is good there to, at least from the outside, try and choose or appoint non-political senators. But they will be elected by the people. So interested to hear what you think about that. Let's just sort of scroll through and see what we can find. He has a good future. We're still talking about Captain. We need more electrical knowledge. Good English. Yes, electricians are hard to find here in... Good electricians are hard to find here in Thailand. Captain is adorable, says Gail. KJ, future YouTube star right there. Can anyone recommend a good Thailand chat group, says Tom Shannon. Well, here... Look, chat groups, they are a wealth of misinformation and hate and vitriol. I find them highly toxic, most of the chat groups. If there is a good one, I don't know of it. And I avoid them like the plague these days. If anybody can recommend one that isn't like that, then please do so. Good morning. Excuse me. I just need to have this. Speaking of plastics. Okay, lower the gain of the mic. Oh, really? Is it that high? The kid knows a lot of big numbers, if you can say Tim's age in English. He said I was 21. So I'm happy with that. Looking at the screenshot instead of the camera, Tim, can you hide the bicycle on your right under the table for me? On my right. I'm not sure what you're talking about. He's diplomatic as well. Smart kid to give you homework to block the view of the cyclist walking by. The Senate is the junta's iron grip. Well, that's the old Senate, but in May this year we are going to have a new Senate of elected senators, elected by the people from those 20 professions. So, not junta appointed anymore. Tell Captain to get all his school friends and their parents to subscribe to see he's now famous. Oh, now see, I wasn't smart enough to think about that. Should be YouTuber. Oh no, isn't it only for ones who can't get a real job? I was reading a survey the other day about what Thais want to be when they finish school. I can't remember they were sort of like lawyers and doctors and things, but I think in third or fourth place it was YouTubers or social media influencers. Let me just tell you, it's a difficult job, especially if you've got to front up every day to try and get enough views to make a living out of it, gee. Okay, chat groups. The more specific they are, the better they tend to be. Now, that's a really good piece of advice from NC something hiker. Write names that I can actually read. I can't even pronounce that, but that's a really good bit of advice. The more expats doing home construction has a group, not toxic. Yeah, I think you're pretty right there. Pattaya says, Kun Tim creates a new chat group. No, that won't be happening. There's no way I would administer or moderate a chat group. It drive me insane. It's bad enough trying to moderate my own. Had a pretty nasty week this week. There's been a group of people clearly trolling me. Basically writing things they knew I would delete or block, and then on another account saying, oh, you're blocking our comments. English isn't my first language, and then using really colloquial English to insult me. Clearly just trolls. So, yeah, it is a bit of an annoyance having to go through and understand these trolls are out there, and they're going to try and ruin your day. And it takes time. But I don't hesitate to block people these days if they get abusive. My channel, my rules. If you want to disagree with anything I say, no problems with that, but don't get nasty, because I don't have time for the nastiness. I'm too old to worry about being politically correct. I'll just block you. Mind your legs, Tim. Why? What's wrong? Dog is coming. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. And what else have we got here? Oh, from Thai Sweden for fun. Thank you very much. A little donation so you can keep doing this program. Everything is appreciated. Now, I have to say, I don't even know why I'm sharing it, but I mean, you can see it quite easily if you check out the channel. But the last month, our views have dropped by almost half compared to last month. Now look, every month it goes up and down, and it's usually to do with the news cycle. If there's a big expat story, a new visa, or some Thai politician complaining about foreigners, or something happening at the airport that affects foreigners, the views go up. It's just the way it is. But this month our views have dropped nearly half, which means the income goes down as well. But I mean, that's the YouTube roller coaster that you're on, and if you are expecting just a check to arrive in your bank account once a month, it just doesn't work like that. You've got to work for every subscriber and work for every view, and it's not particularly easy sometimes. So this month is going to be one of the lowest months I've had over the past 6 months, but next month I might get the highest month I've ever had. But it does sort of involve the news cycle. I think also this time of the year there's quite a lot of people here in Thailand just enjoying themselves, and they've got better things to do rather than sit down and watch their YouTube channel. acknowledging as I look at the numbers that about half the viewers are in Thailand and a half are outside Thailand. So, interesting mix. Thanks for the Senate update, says Florian. Really informative for those of us living in Thailand. Yeah, at the end of the day, these senators are involved in what's going to happen with foreigners and visas and terms of stay and all that stuff. I mean, the senators are going to be voting on these things. So it is important for us to at least have a sideways look at what's happening with the Thai politics. How, what, why, when, where? Hi, Tim. Air quality in Chiang Mai, awful today. Looks okay where you are. Yeah, the air quality down south is usually much better than the north, particularly this time of the year. It's basically an all-green pass today. All the monitoring stations green, which means the air quality is good. If it goes yellow, then it's called moderate, and it gets all the way up to being red, where it's considered unhealthy. If it goes purple, it's very unhealthy. So sad to say that I think the north of Thailand's got 3 or 4 months of poor air quality ahead. It looks like Bangkok got in a bit early this year with poor air quality, but as I said, I'm sure it's going to be well reported by the Thai media this year. Now, did I have anything else to report? Oh, this one. Now, there has been a serial litigant, let's call him that. A lot of Thai media call him a serial pest, but he's a guy who basically spends his time suing people and officially reporting them to different Thai authorities. As to why he was doing this and how he was making money out of it wasn't really clear. Until now, serial petitioner Sisuwan in police custody on an extortion charge. This has been reported in ThaiPBSWorld.com. And well-known serial petitioner Sisuwan Janya has been taken into police custody on an extortion charge after he and 2 associates allegedly demanded 1.5 million baht from the Director General of the Rice Department in exchange for dropping his plan to lodge a complaint of alleged corruption against the official. And police set up a sting operation by letting a courier take the first 500,000 baht payment to Sisuwan's house, the process that was kept under close surveillance. And police said that Sisuwan noticed the public arriving, grabbed the parcel containing the cash and threw it out of the compound of his house. And police managed to recover the cash and took Sisuwan into custody before searching his house for more evidence. So it may be that we've found out how he's been making money from doing all these. We thought he was perhaps a do-gooder or somebody who just enjoyed being litigious and bringing justice to Thailand. But he was in on the take. He was extorting people, and that was his way of making money. He was wanting 3 million baht not to make a particular complaint. So I'd suggest that there's going to be a lot of people quite happy to see him under arrest and possibly serving a bit of time in jail, getting a little bit of his own medicine. The story says that Sisuwan and his wife were whisked away from their house in a passenger van, reportedly for questioning. Oh, there's that photo again. All right. So there we go. That's sort of some of the main stories around Thailand this morning. Let's finish with some of your comments. Your Starbucks is very bad. Well, look, again, a lot of people enjoy Starbucks coffee. As I said, my main complaint with it is that it's sometimes a bit expensive. But otherwise, I don't think there's any problem. I don't find it particularly strong, more like a sort of a coffee milkshake, but coffee is coffee. I think the thing about coffee is it's going to depend on the blend of the coffee, the batch of the coffee, how old it is, which part of the world it came from, the milk that's used in making the coffee, the temperature of the water, how the coffee's been prepared, where the cows live. There's so many things that will affect the taste and the quality of your coffee, and they're all variables. So I think one thing you can say about Starbucks coffee is probably that it's consistent. Anyway, I don't have shares in Starbucks. Kevin Johnson said it would scare the something out of a 12-year-old boy, and you'd think that any shadow in your room was coming to get you, laughing out loud. Anyway, it would scare the crap out of me. What would scare the crap out of you? Creature features with Bob Wilkins. He won't last long in a Thai prison. At the time, as a young boy, I lived in Eureka, California, and the local station there features a midnight on Friday and Saturday. I didn't know. I've missed that part of the thread. I'm sorry, everybody. Listening, watching, thinking, it's all a bit hard to do when you're 21. Believe it or not, it's an old show that they're still talking about the show. I don't know anything what they're talking about. Anyway, let's just sort of wrap up here. Have ever been recruited to advise on broadcasting news for long-standing media institutions in Thailand? The expat community could really benefit from the broadcast like your program. No. Oh, actually, I've had a few offers since leaving Tiger, but I have got no desire whatsoever to work for anyone ever again, except myself. And number one, I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm doing. I'm enjoying the challenge of growing a small YouTube portal. It's never going to make me millions, but I might be able to eke out enough to enjoy a few nice meals and pay the rent each week. Tim will make a poster of that photo and hang it in the rental unit. I was a bit surprised, I have to say, when I saw it. Shows you what just a quick rug on the head will do to change the complete look. But yeah, thank you very much to AI. It's not a real photo. Being 10 years old at the time. Okay, what else have we got here? Consistently mediocre. I hope you're talking about Starbucks and not me. Good coffee in Melbourne and Sydney. Yeah, Melbourne is the coffee capital of Australia, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And good reasons for that being like that as well. And it's been like that for 50 or 60 years. Yes. Have you ever been recruited? I've already done that one. Well, often get into smog, Songkla. We often get Indonesian smog in Songkla province. Yes, sometimes of the year you get the forest fire and the plantation fire burning smoke coming across the Malacca Strait into the very south of Thailand. Yes, and sometimes even as far as Phuket. Not often though. How many views, subscribers would you need for your channel to generate enough money to live on? Oh, Graham, that's a big question. It's not so much the subscribers, it's the views. So the more subscribers you have, generally, the more regular viewers you have. Looks like a bike just got knocked over there. Such is the wind this morning. So, I mean, I've got enough subscribers to almost make a living out of it, but I need to get 20, 30, 40,000 views a day then to make what I would call enough money to live on. If I was going to live solely on the money coming from my YouTube channel, yeah, I'd have to probably get 2 or 3 times the amount of daily views, because it's those views that end up as a return on your time. So some YouTube channels have got millions of subscribers and small views. Others have got a small number of subscribers and a huge number of views. And some of them get those out of the blue videos that get millions of views. I've never had one of those videos break out. I'm sort of in this tight box called Thai news, and it's very rare for me to break out of that box. I mean, the most number of views I've got is probably 60 or 70,000. But if I was getting 20, 30,000 views a day, I would probably be then making enough to actually live on that. Not a luxurious life, but would be enough to pay the rent and eat. That's just very rough numbers. Very hard to put specific numbers on these things because there's all sorts of variables. Also, I mean, yeah, we got Mr. EE100 saying 1 million views equals 5,000 US dollars. It doesn't quite work out like that. I mean, I can get, say, 500,000 views in a month. I certainly don't get 2,500 US dollars. So if you are getting a lot of people in Thailand watching your video, you are going to get less money than if the same number of people from the United States, for example, was watching the video, because they're seeing advertisements in the US, and those US advertisers are paying more for those Google ads than the Thai advertisers. So you could have a Thai channel with millions of views making a lot less money than a US YouTuber with a lot fewer subscribers and fewer views, and they could be making a lot more than you. I hope I've explained that well. Look, believe me, I think about these things on a daily basis. I do a lot of work to try and understand what's happening with YouTube. I've read a lot of articles about it. So yeah, that's roughly the way it is. Do the show in the nude, says Nong Wua Sao. I'm not sure if that's a really good idea. I think at the end of the day, I would prefer to attract subscribers rather than lose them. If I did the show in the nude, I would lose 2 years of hard work. Okay. Do the show at a go-go in the evening. The numbers will be good. Reg, a lot of YouTubers do that, and their views are not particularly high. There's plenty of YouTubers that do that sort of stuff. And do it a lot better than me, and have got a lot more knowledge about that particular industry. So I'll leave it to them to do their shows in the go-go bars. Going back and watching your old videos, which we missed, help towards... well, the old videos are about old news, so yeah, I mean, sure, go back and watch them. But and look, every little bit helps, but yeah, it's old news. So... a very good suggestion by people is to do more or videos with a longer shelf life. So things about how to get a retirement visa, where's the cheapest place to live, I don't know, all those sort of popular long shelf life videos. But I think I'm going to have to start a new channel to do that, because YouTube's already put me in this news box and doesn't seem to send out those long shelf life videos to a wider audience. So I think at some stage, maybe in the next couple of months, I'll be starting a new YouTube channel, which would be about more long shelf life videos. And hopefully I can bring something of interest and present them well, and hopefully they may have a longer shelf life than 24 hours, which is the shelf life of a news video. Brett Border, thank you very much, from Canada. He is hoping for the big views. We can always hope, but Brett, your support is always appreciated, and thank you very much. The Queensland Tiger, thank you. Contribution for a low viewer month. Well, look, I'm not begging for it. Oh, we got the sun coming, have we? Oh, it's coming soon. I'll be pushed out of here. I have to go back into the shadows. So, yeah, I mean, every bit helps, and I appreciate that, but I'm not fishing for extra super chats, but I do, of course, appreciate it. And also from Eileen, thank you, Eileen Morris-Duke, with an enormous, and we've got the cyclist over the road having a group photo. Oh, somebody else taking a photo now. And they're all getting ready to go wherever they're going. Eileen, I really appreciate your generosity. And it's not necessary, and it's a little bit embarrassing. But she says, I love coffee in Thailand. Eileen, I'd be interested to know which particular brand you like best, or do you just go to those vendors on the streets and get a coffee from them? Unbranded coffee. Yeah, Amazon, they make a stronger brew than, for example... YouTube, Starbucks. I do get distracted very easily. So, yeah, Amazon coffee I think is pretty good. Thank you, Eileen. Thank you very, very much for your very kind generosity. A few closing comments, then it's time to go. Kevin Johnson, you should talk about on this channel. You say that you have somebody take care of your immigration stuff, that you don't make border runs. Talk about that news. Okay. Yeah, I get an agent to do all my 90-day reports and also do my annual renewals. I haven't hidden that fact. I'm not inclined to recommend that particular agent or any agent. I know a lot of people do and they get a small commission, but it's such an important thing to make sure that your visa is done properly. And if I recommend an agent and something goes wrong, I'm going to feel guilty, I'm going to feel awful, and you're going to have problems. So when it comes to visa agents, I'm not inclined to recommend either my agent or anybody else. And there's also been a couple of visa agents who have approached me to offer money to advertise, like 5 Star Marine. But I've also said, look, I just don't feel comfortable advertising visa agents on the channel. And Kevin, a follow-up, I was curious when you talked about that, but you just kind of mentioned it because what somebody else has like, okay, you've been there 11 years, who's doing your visa runs for you? Well, no one's doing my visa runs. I used to do visa runs myself every 3 months. I used to pop down mostly to Penang, but sometimes just a few hours up north to Ranong and taking a boat over to Myanmar for a visa stamp. But I don't have to do those 90-day visa runs anymore. I've got a different business setup. And it's a quite different situation now. So I don't have to do those runs out of the country. I haven't been out of the country for ages. But yes, I do have to do 90-day reports, but I get my visa agent to do that on my behalf. And I pay usually 500 baht for the pleasure. But I've been unsuccessful in doing it online. Having said that, since they've changed they've modified and improved the system, I'll be inclined to try that again and see how it works. But otherwise, my visa agent does that for me. Otherwise, I've got a bit of a drive ahead of me. Okay, and Crypto Kev in Thailand. Thank you very much, Crypto Kev. How's your crypto going? Been a pretty good 12 months for Bitcoin, for example. Hopefully you've made some wins. I don't encourage anybody. I certainly don't get involved in crypto. I'm stupid. I don't understand it. And I know a lot of people have lost a lot of money in crypto, as well as people who have made some money. But good luck to you, Kev, if you have. Keep up the good work, Tim. No, please don't do it in the nude. Yeah, Crypto Kev, I'm with you. If I was a viewer, I wouldn't want to see me in the nude. I get depressed every night I have a shower. Tim, are eSIMs the best way to go for visitors in Thailand to connect to the internet for laptops? Well, I would say what I do with my TV at home at the moment. Where I'm living at the moment, I don't have Wi-Fi. I think it's going to be connected sometime next week. But I just, what do you call it when you use your phone? Someone's going to give me the word. What's it called? Tether. I tether to my phone, which has got a SIM card in it. So I wouldn't recommend getting another SIM card just for your computer or for your laptop or whatever. Just tether to your phone. Now, along this stretch, there's usually only about 4G, but it's been fast enough to watch movies on my big TV and be messaging on my iPad and phone and stuff all at the same time. So, just tether to your phone is my recommendation. Well, that is information, but we would like to have, at least Kevin's still at it, I would like to have, or your business situation now that you have house, condo to rent, maybe that changed your visa. Oh, okay. I'm not going to be giving any information about the relationship I have with the owners of the houses I'm renting or the leases, because it's personal information. And there's nothing really that unusual about what I'm doing. Has it had an implication on my visa? No. I've just basically got a B visa. and got a Thai shelf company with Thai shareholders. So it's not really anything particularly strange or unusual. But I don't give out private information because at the end of the day, I'm public enough on a daily basis, and I do want to keep some sections of my life personal and private because at the end of the day, they're none of your business. And thank you for all the speculation from time to time. Do we need to thank anybody else? Well, I thank all of you, of course. But, of course, I do want to respond to Super Chats in particular. So, Kevin, look, maybe send me an email if you've got some specific questions. timnewtontoday@gmail.com. And I'm happy to perhaps spend some more specific time with you on your questions. Hot spotting, Tim. It's called hot spotting. I call it tethering. Have a great weekend, guys. No sunshine for a week, says Darm1 up in Jomtien. Just grey skies and very humid. Thanks very much, Tim. Happy Saturday. I do watch your old videos once in a while. Yes, a new and different YouTube program. That's from Lang F. Tan. We missed the pool boy. What pool boy? Thanks, Pattaya. Are you a flat earther then? I'm definitely not a flat earther. Definitely not. Basically, when it comes to conspiracy theories, I'm not on the conspiracy side of any of those issues. Okay, Tim, I won't ask any more. I do like you. Kevin, send me an email, timnewtontoday@gmail.com. And if you've got a specific question, I'll try and answer it. But don't ask things about my tax situation, my business setup, my company. Just don't ask stuff like that because I'm not going to tell you. No piano playing during Chinese New Year. Cheers, Tim. Okay, now, just something. Steve Ross and I will be recording Grumpy Old Men today. There's been a video that's just become totally viral over the last week, and Steve and I will be talking about it. Steve doesn't know this yet, but I did send him the link. I hope he watched it. It's interesting from a cultural perspective as to why this video has gone viral, and also specifically about what the gripe is about. And it's about some Chinese vloggers getting in the face of an English vlogger while he was doing a live piano playing at a train station in the UK. So I can't remember his name. Anyway, but it's quite an interesting story, and this guy's milking it for all he can get. And I'm not necessarily fully 100% on his side, so we'll have a bit of a talk about that with Steve on Grumpy Old Men. It's coming up tomorrow. Tim's birthday is coming up on the 20th of February. Pattaya, you've got a very, very good memory. Yes, it is on the 20th of February, and according to young Captain, I'll be 22 years old. So, thank you everybody for dropping in. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday morning here at Chip Fair Lele. And we've got the easterly wind starting to pipe up. The sun's about to come up over the roof. So I'm going to go and put a hat on. I've got a house to paint today. Have a great weekend. I look forward to seeing you with Grumpy Old Men and Steve Ross tomorrow. Otherwise, have a great Saturday and goodbye. And goodbye from Captain.